Do you think it is good racing?
It.
I'm Elle. And I'm Pat. And we are Paddock 43.
And this is your F1 fix.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy
Monday.
Happy Kimi Antonelli Praise Day.
Oh, I'm so annoyed because I went to the gym this morning and then as I was getting in the car, I was like, wait a second. I have a Mercedes hat and I'm not wearing it. I really wish I wore it in solidarity to Mr. Kimi Antonelli. I should have maybe worn a Ferrari hat as well in celebration for Ferrari and just Italia in general.
Oh, I always forget. Yeah, what is it? First Italian win in 20 years?
20 years, since 2006.
Got quite a few little tidbits that happened on that race.
Actually, the last Italian to win a race was none other than Giancarlo Fisichella, who is Joanne Ciconti's, I think, mentor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good fun fact.
Yeah.
God, I love
read
that.
somewhere where it's like, great day for the Italians, sad day for Giancarlo. Well, you know what? Everyone has to be beat at some point. Every record has to be broken.
It was quite the race, all things considering. I saw something that Kim Ellery put up that at the Australian Grand Prix, because everyone's up in arms of like, this isn't racing, that at the Australian Grand Prix, there was like 140 overtakes this year, but only 42 or 45 the previous year. And I was like, but people were saying that's worse racing. And I want to ask you a little bit later on in the episode about what you actually think about that, because I'm in two minds. But first of all, we have to get into the episode because obviously 4 drivers didn't start at the Chinese Grand Prix. Oopsie daisies. We'd love to dive into that. We obviously have Kimi Antonelli, which we've already touched on, Lewis Hamilton, which is also very exciting, and Oscar Piastri, who still hasn't completed a lap, which is sad.
Yeah.
Sad. So yes, it was chaos. So very, very excited to get into this episode.
Yes.
But I think that we need to start with both McLarens to begin with.
Okay,
because
we'll start with McLarens.
That was the biggest shock of. I mean, we had our watch party and I didn't even realize, and you just came over to me and you're like, the McLarens aren't starting, and I was like, what? No, Oscar was just on the grid.
Yeah, I mean, like, if the McLarens aren't going to start. If the McLarens aren't going to start, then that is at least a good enough reason, I think. As in what you're saying about Oscar, poor Oscar, it sucks.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, if you want it to be an issue, let it be a technical issue. Granted, I looked up at the screen and thought, what the hell? Same Gabriel Bortoleto wasn't starting, same as Alex Albon, he wasn't starting. And it just, you sit with the shock for a second and then you think, do you know what? This is 2026, baby.
Oh, no.
This is what we're going to see, and we're only second race of the season. I mean, technically we could say second and a half race because it was the first sprint weekend that we saw. So we did have a mini race over the weekend.
But that being said, the FIA have said that they're going to be meeting after the Chinese Grand Prix, so this week, and they're going to make some changes to the regulations and the rules. Apparently, we don't know what that includes. So the McLarens didn't start because they both had technical issues to the electrical component of the power unit. So they both had the same issue, which, as you said, is going to be 2026. I mean, they're working with high speeds and these new power units. It's a new era for everyone. But Lando's issue was discovered before formation, so they knew well and truly then. And Oscar's issue happened whilst his car was actually on the grid. So they had to roll it off. But same area, but completely different issues, which is weird.
If you're not watching, I'm just smiling. And I'm smiling.
Why are you smiling?
I'm smiling because,
sad.
no, I'm not smiling at that. I'm smiling because I just want to say time and time again, I have said for a long time, the Mercedes have known for a long time that they felt so confident about their car. Granted, we're only 2 races in, but think about how many cars across AusGP and this weekend have had battery issues, power unit issues, that they're still not 100% clear. And I think that the one car who is clear, they may prove me wrong. I guess technical issues can happen throughout the season, but Mercedes.
Well, we'll get into Mercedes dominance later on the episode. We're trying a new thing. We've got some structure, so
yeah.
Because we like to ramble, so I'm gonna. I'm like, Pat, we're getting into Mercedes later on in the episode. Yeah. But we will get into the sprint race now, which, as you said, 2.5 races.
Yes, 2.5
into the-
races.
which,
First,
if anyone doesn't understand that, we mean like Australia Grand Prix and then Chinese Grand Prix and then sprint.
I actually think I was thinking about over the weekend. I think it's good that they did a sprint this weekend because
Needed. Sorry if you can hear little pitter pattering. It's my dogs walking around.
I hope Merlin gets in the frame. I think it was needed because obviously they couldn't have put a sprint weekend. I was thinking, like, imagine if they put a sprint weekend in Australia. Impossible. But I think it was needed to have it early on in the season because, again, I think that, you know, there's only so much testing that they can do with the cars. Even quali, they're kind of racing, but it's really essentially it's just another form of testing. So I think like getting that wheel-to-wheel action and having a sprint so early on in the season, I think was great, like specifically for like this 2026 season. But yeah, and it was exciting as well, especially for us, the fact that it was in our time zone. I think sometimes there's sprint weekends when it's...
You forget as well. You're
Yeah.
like, oh wait, shit, the sprint's on.
Yeah, and so then you're having
Middle
to
of a
like...
Saturday as well.
Yeah, like I think you always say you're like, practice. And sometimes as well when a race is on a weekend where it's a terrible time for us and it's like, you know what, I don't have the time to watch practice. And then when it's a sprint and you're like, okay, shit, I need to watch a sprint and I need to watch sprint quali and I need to watch quali and and it's so many things that you're catching up on at random times throughout the day. So it was very nice to sit down and be like, oh, sprint's about to start.
It was good. And it was like,
Well done,
as you
George.
said, it was very Mercedes dominance and that's where we proved it as well. I mean, Toto Wolff was even like, I thought for a second we have a third driver. That's my driver to Lewis Hamilton because obviously he was doing so well in the sprint and they all got a little bit confused. But
Look, I think he's always going to have a soft spot for Lewis.
I think he will. Sorry, my dog keeps trying.
I know, I'm watching her. She's about to lie on the cable. And I'm just worried she's going to get like electrocuted or something.
No, what's happening?
Can she come up on the couch?
No couch, no dogs on the couch.
Oh.
She could go to the other bed, but she's insisting on being in the bed where the light battery is currently sitting in.
Wait, can we put something down so she can sit next to me? I need dog therapy.
No dogs on the couch. That is a new rule in this house.
Oh,
but yes, Toto Wolff. That is my driver. Third driver. I thought that was the worst Toto Wolff impersonation.
But it's like when obviously we saw Lewis leave Mercedes and it was really sad, and especially I think Toto's heart was completely broken because how long had he had him for?
But he's still so involved in the team.
Yeah.
Like Lewis is always there. He goes and says hello.
hi, yeah.
He's always like the respect he had. I mean, when Kimi Antonelli won the Grand Prix race,
Surprise.
Lewis, surprise. Did you not know? Lewis Hamilton I did think it was funny. He was like, you replaced me.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, no, we'll get into that.
That's what we're getting into now.
Okay.
That was my leeway into it.
Okay, yeah, he said you replaced me. It was funny because we were watching at the pub and everyone was like, oh. And so everyone's
But it was factually correct.
And everyone's initial reaction was like, oh, burn, but it was factually correct, exactly. And it was really sweet, and also seeing all the images of Lewis as a Mercedes driver, like signing autographs for Kimi, and also as well because he has been a big part of Kimi's life because Kimi came through the ranks in the Mercedes program. So he's, been a part of, Lewis has been a part of his life, he's been part of Lewis's life, like he's been watching him for a long time. So that was very, very sweet. And yes, the Mercedes dominance, I had a little chuckle because I put up a TikTok of prepare for total domination. Dun, 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 the Bring It On. You didn't get it?
I didn't get it.
Okay.
I watched it like 10 times and I was like, I don't get what this is.
I don't know why
All
that was going
hang on.
through
I'm
my
going to
head.
remove this dog from the frame because Mel, away. You're distracting me.
She's having nice
it's
pats.
It's because you're patting her like that and it's distracting me. I keep looking at it. Mel, sit.
Sit.
Sorry. But it was good. So some other race highlights. Do you want to round us off?
So obviously we had an early safety car after Lance's crash. Little incident. Also the fact, side note. I know we were speaking about Kimi, but Kimi as well fighting off the Ferraris because Ferraris are quick starting.
Oh, that entrance as well, that very first lap. I know. Everyone was a bit worried. It was like...
Very, like he...
I mean, I did that at one point. I was like, come on, Lewis, get it.
I know. I think everyone was like cheering for Lewis. And especially during the race, the Ferrari battles, that is what kept us going. It was the Lewis, Charles. And then I was like breathing because I was just thinking, oh my gosh, are they going to hit each other and then they're both going to be out? And then imagine as well if that had happened. And think about who else would have been in the points. I mean, Franco Colapinto got his first points.
I know, double points for Alpine.
Crazy.
They both got points, which was very exciting.
Very exciting. I mean, it was funny because I was like, oh my God, is Franco going to get points? And you looked at me and you're like, I mean,
half the grid is out.
The grid is out, so the odds are pretty high. I was like, yeah.
But that's also what's going to be exciting about this season is like there is going to be opportunity for points because teams will get out.
Teams will be out, exactly.
And then that brings me back to what I said at the start of this episode. Do you think it is good racing?
Oh, it's so interesting because as a viewer, when I'm watching a race and I'm seeing the battles, yes, you know, after AusGP, I was like, I'm so excited. This has brought something to the sport that we haven't maybe seen in a while. At the same time, I think for a driver's perspective, I don't know if it would feel different. Like I said last week, and I will say this time and time again, I think previously it was all about tyre strategy, whilst this season is more of a battery strategy. I find it fascinating watching the race. And watching, I mean, maybe I'm just a big nerd, but I find it fascinating watching the batteries and watching how the battery levels are going up and down because one of the biggest parts of this car is the fact that you drive the car, it recharges the battery. You need to manage the battery. You need to make sure that you are not using all your battery power. You can use your boost and use up your battery, but then it's going to send you far back. So it's about having the brain of making sure that you're using your battery correctly. That's another part of it that isn't in traditional racing. Traditional racing was just you get in the car and you drive. And there are other things that you manage, like your tyres. So
it's a lot for a team to manage.
It is a lot for a team to manage.
I don't blame them for
it's a lot for a team to manage. It's a lot for a drive to manage. So I know that I think Alonso, I do think maybe this will be his last season because I don't think he's feeling... Unless Adrian Newey does something crazy.
Unless they pull a rabbit out of a hat by mid-season, which they might, because like now that FIA is meeting to change these regulations and that Saudi and Bahrain have been cancelled due to what's going on in the Middle East, the teams actually have time to make modifications and they're allowed to make some modifications. So things might change.
They might, yeah. But
we've got like 6 weeks no racing, really, until Miami.
Weeks.
I mean, we've got Japan, but that's about it.
Thank God.
So I think it's actually 7 weeks with one race.
No, 5 weeks, because it's the first weekend of May.
Is it the first weekend
So
of May?
this coming weekend, no race, and then Japan is the last weekend of May, and then it's Easter.
Well, I think that it makes for good racing. I know a lot of people don't like it and they go, this isn't F1 and this isn't the petrol engines that we had. And no, it's not. It's a new era. But also, you guys were the ones complaining last year saying this is boring. There is no overtakes.
Yeah.
There's nothing happening. You know exactly who is dominant and that's it. Will we get bored if there's one team dominating? Of course. We always do every year. But they're the ones managing the tyre strategy. And you never know when their electrical faults will happen because we know electrical faults will happen.
Exactly. It just adds another layer of excitement to the sport.
I think that's going to make it interesting. I mean, I feel for McLaren. 2 really shit races for them, pretty much. Just sitting in the midfield, Oscar not performing, not even racing. I mean, he did come 6th in the sprint, but that's 2 points, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal.
Yeah. I think
not ideal. I mean, I can see why Max Verstappen is complaining. I mean, he probably didn't even care that that's also, Max Verstappen has retired from the first 2 races of the season as well.
No.
Yeah.
He didn't retire in Australia.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm
P6.
thinking... I was thinking about when he crashed.
Quality.
He crashed.
Well, that was... it was interesting because, obviously Max did not DNF yesterday. So people were like, Max DNF, oh my gosh. So interesting. Something that I do think was interesting, which we did speak about last week, was the fact that Max in Australia went from P20 to P6. And that was because he had a technical issue in Q1 in quali. Had he not had that technical issue, where would he have qualified? That would have been a spectacular fight between the Ferraris, the Mercedes, and Max Verstappen, and even Isaac Hadjar if he had not crashed in Australia. And maybe yesterday, had he not had that technical issue, It's always like, imagine what if. Had he not had that technical issue, then maybe he would have been in that fight as well. But yeah, kind of to circle back to the point that you made about is it racing, is it not racing? I think people just need to accept that there are changes happening. It's not Formula E. It's still Formula One. It's just had a lot of changes. I think
you all hated when the people complaining, the people that didn't like computers and the internet when they first came out, by the way.
Yeah, or people were like, what is this DRS thing? So... yeah, it is what it is.
Or the halo.
I think, and the halo. Oh, safety. Oh. How can they be safe?
I mean, the drivers were the ones that hated it first.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, wait.
Which is the same, like the drivers don't enjoy this. And at the same time, this has been the biggest shake-up to the sport we have ever seen. So, of course, people are going to complain. Of course, it's going to be a massive, massive change for the drivers, for the teams. And I think that in the end, it's the drivers that are having to cop it the most. They will adapt. If they don't like it, they will leave. New drivers will come in. It'll open up spots for new drivers. And let's just enjoy it. F1 is back and it's not going anywhere. So,
and Lewis Hamilton has put Ferrari on the podium twice. So
yes, he has.
That's saying
his first podium in Ferrari as well. Like someone was like, he had a podium last year.
The sprint.
It's like he had a podium last year. I was like, well, that was half a podium and it didn't count. So well done, Lewis. Very happy to see you up there.
It was good.
It was very good.
We've got a couple of breaks. We've obviously got a break now before we go into Japan. But what are you expecting from Japan? Now, because people obviously are going to they might readjust some things and whatnot, but they also know that they now have more time to adjust after Japan as well. So they might not do as much. We don't know what these teams and the FIA regulation changes will be. Well, if they make changes, I think they're just meeting about the racing.
I don't think much will change with the cars in Japan. I mean, we'll do a little race preview next week for Japan. So I don't think much will change for Japan, but I think over that break, it's probably come at a good time. I mean, granted, what's happening is awful and, you know, we're not going to really touch on that. But I think at a team level, it's going to give them a lot more time to sort of recalibrate and refocus. I don't know what we'll see. I think it's just going back to head office and analysing the data, because at least they've got 2 weeks and after 2 races, then after Japan, 3 races worth of data that they can look at. At the moment, they've kind of been looking at blind data. They're not looking at the cars at their maximum potential. So,
well, my biggest things that I'm looking forward to this season are seeing the Mercedes internal battle struggle of who's number one driver, Kimi versus George, because obviously we've seen 2 great performances from both of them. I know who I sway to, Kimi. That is a personal preference.
Is this just going to be like... This is kind of like Oscar and Lando again. Literally. Lando and George started in the same year.
But also... But Kimi is so much younger. I think that's why.
I mean, he started a year after Oscar.
Yeah, and I think we were told internally that George Russell was like, I'm the number one driver as soon as Lewis left. So
of course, and that was the intended
it was
plan.
like, it was expected. But I also think that we might even see this battle at Ferrari as well of Charles versus Lewis. But I don't think anyone can beat Lewis on that. If Lewis is winning, it's Lewis. He is a legend in the sport, but Charles is in his own right as well. I mean, so I think that's what I'm most excited for leading up. I mean, I think we're going to see a lot more, and I'm kind of sad that it's just Japan before we hit Miami, but it is what it is. But before we finish up, red flag.
I have something to say on that really quickly because you're talking about the number one driver. Yes, George, the intention was that he's the number one driver. Kimi was brought in as a rookie. You never know what can happen, but I do think it would be George. And interesting with Lewis and Charles, because, again, we saw that battle yesterday and it was just like, oh, my gosh, do not fuck this up and crash into each other, because and this is probably what we're going to see, and that's probably going to happen over the year. And, yes, Lewis is an absolute legend of the sport, but I've said this time and time again that I think that Charles Leclerc could also be a world champion. So it's like, we
could be world champion.
I would love to see Lewis get his 8th, but also I would love to see Charles win a world championship.
I mean, Lewis Hamilton doesn't even want it again. He just wants to win. He just wanted to win in Ferrari, so he needs to win.
But he says that. But then, come midway through the season where it's a battle between him, Charles, and George, he wants to win. He's not going to go, well, no, I don't want the 8th.
All right, well, we've got to wrap this up. We've got 1 more minute left. So, give me 20 seconds. You got red flag, green flag.
You go first.
All right. My red flag of the week is, well, I just say the same shit all the time. I just haven't had a time to actually take like a minute to myself. So that's, been a little bit shit. Green flag. Did I say that right? I'm heading to Cape Town very soon. So actually realising that I'm getting a little bit of a break is very exciting. But also our community event yesterday, love them. It's always nice to have people come down as well. What about you?
Red flag. This morning I was at the gym and I was showering in the shower and the fire alarm went off.
And she went out in her towel.
No, I didn't.
Surprised the neighbours.
I was going to go out in my towel and then I thought, no,
I wish you did.
I know. I was
It would've
standing
been
there.
funny as.
But then I
You
was
could've
like,
made good content.
do I run out in my towel? And then there was a girl, she was like, oh, this happens. I mean, it never happened to me. There was a girl that was washing her hair, so she had the shitter end of the stick. And my green flag for the week is...
that it's your birthday this week.
Oh, yeah, it's my birthday on Wednesday. It's funny because I usually make such a big deal about my birthday. Like, oh, my God, it's my birthday. And I don't know why I'm not really...
I think everyone's over their birthdays. This year, my birthday, it was like the worst day. I hated it.
We record?
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh, so I don't even remember. I absolutely hated it. I didn't want it to be my birthday. I was like, fuck this day.
Yeah, well...
I think that's what happens when you get older.
Maybe next week, yeah. No, but I usually love my birthday.
I was like, I used to as well. And now I'm like, nah, moving on. I don't want to know anymore.
Yeah, hopefully I'm not disappointed. But hopefully I have some nice cake. Hopefully next week my green flag is it was my birthday. Anyway.
And she got cake. All right.
I got cake.
Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share, wherever you've been listening to this podcast. Leave a comment as well. We sort of toyed with a little bit of a new format this week. Just trying to keep this short, sharp and opinionated.
Yes.
And we also trying to do some little interviews coming up. So if there's someone that you really want us to interview, shout out and pop it in the comments.
Yes. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Bye.
Bye.